10 years ago today, I published my first YouTube video.
This video, we're going to learn how to calculate the length of the arc.
It was terrible.
120.
Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad.
3.14. It's a lot of threes in this video.
Oh, it's so boring. It's so boring. Makes me cringe. It is still available online for you to watch if you want to, but please, please, please don't. I would love to delete the video. However, it's a starting point, and I think it's important for people to see where I started. Now, obviously, it got absolutely no views, but that didn't matter because it was just a nerdy hobby and I really enjoyed sharing my knowledge. So I slowly improved with each video, and fast forward 10 years and we're now a small team publishing, in my opinion, some pretty impressive videos. And these videos have gone on to help millions and millions of people all around the world. And if you're watching this video, then you're probably one of those people. And to celebrate, over the next week or so, I'm going to be giving away lots of tools like these Fluke multimeters. We've got merchandise, we've got some hand tools and pliers and things. PCBWay have also sent some merchandise like special mugs and PC mats. So all of this will be going away to multiple competitions. So there's lots of chances to enter and win. If you are not subscribed, then make sure you are subscribed so that you don't miss the notifications and you get a chance to enter the competition and win. We've also just relaunched our channel memberships and Patreon. These now have fresh perks, badges, discounts, behind the scenes footage, and we're going to start doing monthly competitions for channel members and Patreons where you can win some cool prizes. And in the next few weeks, we'll be moving to a brand new studio workshop. So I'm planning to share the journey of the fit out process and the move with the channel members and Patreons. So if you are interested in learning more about that, there's a link down below for you. I also want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has helped me over the last 10 years with this channel. There's a lot of people, so you know who you are. Thank you very, very much. Of course, I need to thank you, the audience, for watching these videos. Everyone who's commented, liked, and shared our content. This has helped us provide free, high-quality engineering tutorials to people all around the world. I hope it has helped you, and I hope it's inspired you to build incredible projects and solve problems, and hopefully excel in your engineering careers. So I asked you to send in some questions for me to answer. If you sent in a video topic request, I have added it to our list of ideas. Thank you very much for those. And then we sorted a few of the questions out and I'm going to answer them now. How do you make the animations? So first we have to decide on a topic, and from there we'll make a script, and in the script will just be all the information and all the research in there, and then we'll churn it through until it goes into an order that makes sense and conveys what we want to teach. Once we have that, we'll then break it into chapters, paragraphs, and sentences, which are then numbered and color-coded, depending on if it's animated or footage and photos. So once we know what needs to be animated, we'll then make the 3D models, or we'll make the 2D illustrations. And we'll use Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator to make those. Then I go and record the audio, and we'll put that into Premiere Pro, into a timeline, and we chop it all up and we sort the timing out until we've got it just how we want it. From there, our very talented animator will take the graphics and he will start to animate the scenes to fit the timing of the audio. Meanwhile, I'll go and start filming and setting up the different scenes, taking the photos we need, and then we come together, compile it all into one file, all the different scenes, add the sound effects, the lighting, anything that needs to be done. We watch it through a few times to try and catch any glitches in the graphics or the audio, any mistakes that might be in the video, and we sort it all out until we got it into a finished product. So then we export the video. We have to make obviously the thumbnails and the titles and the descriptions, and we put it all together and publish. I made that sound very easy, but it's very time consuming and it takes a lot of effort to make these videos, so I hope you enjoy them. How did you learn your electrical knowledge, and are you an engineer? Well, no one is born with the knowledge. We don't know anything when we're born. So we have to acquire our knowledge over time with effort. So we have to read obviously a lot of books, we have to watch a lot of videos and speak to a lot of people. Basically just expose yourself to as much as possible and question everything. So instead of doom scrolling on TikTok, go find something broken and take it apart to see how it works. And if there's something in there that you don't recognize or understand, go and find an answer to that. Search online. You might not find an answer straight away, but you will eventually. I'd also say just to start building something, just think of a project that you'd like to make and just start to do it. And you will then hit a barrier at some point of your knowledge, and you'll just find an answer and come past that. Start doing something and you will learn things on the way. You will obviously make mistakes, and that is fantastic. You will learn far more and much faster by making mistakes, and you'll also know what not to do on the next project. So that's a very important part of the learning process and journey. Now, I am very fortunate that my dad was an engineer, so I had exposure to engineering and problem solving from a very early age. But I then went to college to study engineering, and then later on I went to university to get my engineering degree. But you don't have to wait. You don't have to go sit in a classroom for someone to tell you about engineering. If you're interested and you want to learn engineering, just start. Just grab a book, a kit, whatever field of engineering you're interested in, get something for that and just start. That's the most important thing. So it's got to be something that you're interested in, and just put the time and effort in, and you will gain knowledge. How did you start your engineering journey? Well, I've always wanted to be an engineer, and I've just always found this topic very interesting. And that's largely because growing up, my dad was a maintenance engineer. He could fix anything, and I just thought this was amazing. So I would help him and he would teach me, and so naturally I just followed in his footsteps. As a kid, I was completely obsessed with just dismantling everything and anything to see what was inside and how did it work. And eventually I was able to actually repair a few things. One time I got like a laminator out of a dumpster behind a shop that they'd thrown away because it wasn't working. So I dismantled it, repaired it, and then I actually sold it to another business. Not for a lot of money, but it was very inspiring to be able to take something, repair it, and sell it. And of course, I watched really nerdy shows like Robot Wars, Scrap Heap Challenge. I also had subscriptions to magazines like How Things Work. And I also had a magazine called, I think it was Real Robots. And each month they would send through a magazine, and there was a part of a robot, and you would build this each month, and it would follow a line, and it made some noises and stuff like this. So yeah, that was really, really cool. Things like this just helped me think about things in a certain way. Now, I did not do very well at school. I only tried in the subjects that I was interested in, which were workshop, science, and computers. Could not get me to do anything else. I wasn't interested. So I finished school and I decided I wanted to be an electrician. So I wrote a letter to every single electrical business in the nearby area. There's about 30 in total. And I wrote them an actual letter with a stamp, and I went to the post box and sent it to them. I was eagerly awaiting for anyone who could offer me an apprenticeship or a placement. Not a single company responded to me. That was quite deflating. So I applied to the local college and I got accepted to start an entry-level engineering diploma. And I loved it. This is exactly what I wanted to do. And so I went for it, and I've done very, very well. So I stayed on and I did another advanced diploma in engineering, and I did very well at this as well. So then it came to graduation, and I had these qualifications, but obviously I didn't really have any real world working experience, which makes it very difficult. And at the time I was working in a supermarket, and I'd gone for a few interviews, and one day I was standing on the till in the supermarket and my phone rang, and I saw it calling, and I thought, wow, this is it. This is my lucky break. So I was like serving customers and everything, and I was like, hello, yeah. And he was offering me the job. The manager's running out and, trying to fend off so that I can take this call and accept the job. I took it and I just quit there and then. This is all I wanted to do. I didn't want to be stuck, so I just took it. I'm so glad I answered that call. And it was a local contractor who had offered me a junior position. And I'm still grateful to this day for that opportunity. So Graham, if you do ever see this video, thank you so much for that opportunity. It was a pivotal moment in my career. Thank you so much. And because it was a fairly small business, so I got to do a bit of everything and worked on some really interesting projects all over the country, from food processing to water treatment, and then to nuclear power stations. So I really learned so much in my time there. And then some years after that, I decided to take a break and I went traveling, and then I worked on some projects all around the world. And I also, for a brief time, became a maintenance engineer, just like my dad. So then I decided to apply for university, and I was lucky enough to get accepted. So I went and did my degree in engineering, and I loved it. I had all the time in the world to work on different projects and ideas, and I would stay up all night and work on whatever crazy idea I had. And then we would be doing, different lab work and all the hands-on aspects of the course. Really enjoyed this. Obviously, there was the write-up part, which I didn't like so much, but it's part of the course, so you have to do it. But then during the summer breaks, well, most people would go back to their parents or something like this and relax. I wouldn't do that. I would write to companies so that I could get a summer placement just to get as much exposure as I possibly could. And I was fortunate enough that some of them paid me. It wasn't a lot of money, but it was enough to pay for rent and food in whatever location it was. So this was great for my CV because it gave me experience and showed I was very eager, and just gave me something to stand out against all the thousands of other engineers who are about to also graduate who would have no work experience at all. So things like this will give you the upper edge. Do it. Have you considered organizing some real life workshops? Yes, I did actually intend on turning this workshop into like a makerspace where people can come in, grab a workbench, we can work together with like-minded people on some really cool projects of whatever you were thinking of. However, since moving into and building this workshop, I became a dad. And between work, the channel, and being the best dad I can possibly be, I don't really have the time available to manage a project like that. So it's still something I really want to do, but I'm going to have to delay it a bit. However, we are later this month launching our first electronic kits. So you can order these and I will ship them to you. And then when we release our videos where we're making some sort of circuit or whatever it's going to be, you can follow along and you can do step by step along with the video, and everything you need is in the kit. So if you're interested in doing that, then look out for the announcements, and they should be going live this month. Which videos are your favorite? The How Electricity Works video. This is my most favorite video. It's the best thing we've ever produced. It took a long time to make, but it goes from the basic introduction through the concepts and then all the way through like the deep physics of how electricity works. So if you haven't watched that video yet, I would highly recommend you go and check it out. My other favorites would be the how circuit breakers work. Lots of detail and experiments went into that one to convey what's actually happening. And then probably the how MOSFETs work. The animations in that video are very, very good. 10 years of engineering, producing videos. How does it feel? It feels great. I love making videos, and I love that it helps people all around the world. It teaches them, it inspires them. It does some good for the world. And I'm also very fortunate that I've been able to turn a hobby into a career. The thing I probably like the most is when people from all around the world, like maybe a really tiny remote Pacific island or something, and they'll reach out to tell me where they're from, how they use the videos, why they like the videos, and how it's helped them. I love that. I think that's so incredible that I've been able to help that person in like the remotest part of the world. So if that's you, thank you. And you can also leave some comments down below and I will read them. How long does it take to make a video? Well, they used to take a day or two because they were basic and they were terrible. They were absolutely terrible. But then obviously things progressed and learned new skills. So they started taking weeks, and then they started taking months. And now it's about a month or 2 months sometimes it takes us now to make a video. But they're much longer, the quality is exceptional, and the animations are top notch. They're really, our guy is very talented. So in a few weeks' time, we're about to start moving to a new studio workshop. And that's purely because the lease on this place is coming to an end. So once we've moved and we've settled in, I'd really like to expand the team a little bit more, just so that we can produce more content faster and possibly higher quality. But for that, to hire people, we need funding. You don't have to send your money, keep your money in your pocket. But what would really help, if you want to help, is just watch loads of videos, share the videos, comment on them. All these things just help us get advertisers and stuff on board. and that helps fund more videos and staff members. So if you want to help out, that would be very much appreciated. Of course, if you have a spare $1 million or something, then you want to give that away, we will accept it and we will use it to make the best engineering videos that have ever existed. But I think no one's going to do that. So if you want to just watch some videos, that would be a great help. How did you start this YouTube channel? Well, 10 years ago, there weren't as many creators on YouTube and there was far less people making educational content. However, I had been watching some channels like Khan Academy and Learn Engineering. They were very basic at the time, but I thought they were amazing. They were incredible. They were just some people who decided to share their knowledge with the world. So I decided I would like to share my knowledge with the world too. I thought it would help people, but also as an aspiring engineer, I thought it might look good on my CV and it might help me stand out because I could display my knowledge. And also in the future, if I ever needed to remember something, I could watch my videos back. Of course, the channel wasn't monetized. It made no money for a long time, years. It made no money for a long time. It was literally just a nerdy hobby. And whenever I had some spare cash, I would use this to, buy a slightly better microphone or a slightly better camera, anything like that. And it was usually secondhand because you get value for money. But I couldn't make videos, so I just made bad videos and I learned along the way. And when I first started, I was renting a very, very small bedroom in London and I didn't have a desk. So I just built some, I think there were boxes or something next to the bed, and I just sat there and made videos in the evenings, on weekends. But then I managed to rent a larger room. And this was a really important point in the history of the channel because I was able to have my bed and then I had space for 2 desks in there as well. And this was a shared apartment. So all the bedrooms were individually rented out. And then the landlord was a bit dodgy and he turned the living room also into another bedroom. But in this room, I would have one desk for computer and paperwork and everything like that, editing. And then the other desk I would use as a workbench. And so I'd do all the electronics and filming and stuff on that table. And then I would have some friends and also some family would visit and they would help with the channels and the video. They would sit at that bench. So very close proximity at the start. Also made a little recording booth, which was in the corner of the room. So I would stand there and talk into this and record the audio. And whenever I needed to use power tools, couldn't use them in the apartment. So I would get on a train a couple of hours to my parents and I would then use my dad's workbench in his garage. So I worked around the limitations of where I lived. Sometime after that, some of the videos started to become popular and the channel started to make a small income. I had some sponsors like Danfoss who gave me some somewhat regular work. From this, I decided to go all in. So I registered as a business and I put all my money into it. I put every penny. And I used it to hire my first part-time employee and also buy computers and some furniture. And I rented a very small office underneath a bridge, very noisy and very hot in there. But it was a space. So this was going to be the real launch of the channel and was going to accelerate. However, then COVID hit. And because I had registered as a business, I couldn't receive a payout from Google. That's because they had to send you, I don't know if they still do this, but they had to send you a verification code through the post, which you then entered online to verify who you were. But I couldn't get this code because the world had gone into lockdown. Also, the building was now shut and I don't even know if there was postal service running at first. At this point, I had all this debt spiraling up and I had no money coming in or no way to obtain any money to actually pay any of this. So at one point I had literally nothing in the bank. This was a very, very scary moment and definitely some very restless nights. However, I was very fortunate enough that friends and family trusted me and they believed in me and they lent me some money to basically get through this until the world opened up and I could get the code and get paid by Google and YouTube. So that was a pretty scary point. But then as lockdown continued and more and more people went online, and so the channel really grew from that. But the small office wasn't very practical. We definitely were not allowed to have a workshop in there, but we did it anyway. So then I found an old, very cheap industrial unit with a fiber optic internet connection, which was very, very important. And it also had a very small, horrible office. So we built some workbenches in here. We fitted it out with nicer furniture and a bit of paint. And then I was able to hire my first full-time employee, which was an amazingly skilled and talented animator who's still with us today. And this is the workshop. We built all of this. But anyway, yeah, so here we are today. Anyway, I have talked for way too long. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope it's been an insight into the engineering mindset. Thank you all once again for watching and being part of this journey, and I'll see you in the next video.